Bruce,
Man, how about that video?
welcome to Speakeasy HR, my friend.
Hey, glad to be here. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. You were the first guest to be on my first intro video that I produced and edited myself. So hey,
So I just wrote down the word energizing video.
yeah,
Like that was fantastic. How
yeah.
I'm just curious. I know you're the host here. You're asking the questions, but how long did it take you to put that video together? I mean,
You
that's good
know,
stuff.
after playing around with the platform I was using, it kind of all came together, and then you gave me your picture, your information, and I just put it on and kind of played around with it. So yeah, it was fun to do. So like I'm learning as I go with that. But anyways, welcome. Glad to
Thanks,
have you,
man.
man. It's been something that I've been trying to connect with your energy when it comes to an intro. So hopefully I made you proud.
You did. Oh, this is fantastic. I loved it. And I love what you're doing here. We're going to talk about my book and some of the things we're doing, but I'm always talking about how can we like look beyond work,
Yeah.
beyond our job. And
Yep.
when you do that and what you're doing, it just brings so much more to your career. So I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. No, well, I'm glad to have you on. We've talked a few times and we've connected, and so I'm really excited to have you on because you have a really exciting topic that connects with some of the books that you've written and everything, which we'll get into. So I've got a lot to go over, and at the end, you have a special offer for the listeners, so I will not reveal that yet. But anyways, anybody that is watching live, we are on YouTube and LinkedIn. So appreciate you spending a little time with us on your Monday. So I hope everyone had a great weekend. And I'm going to try to keep a lookout for the chat, Bruce, just to see if any
Okay.
questions come up. Obviously, I want to have some engagement with this. And the last time my connection to the link of the chats was not working so well. So hopefully it works better this time. But if not, hey, we've got a lot to go over. So uh, like I said, at the end of the show, we're going to release a little bit of a special offer from Bruce. So how's hot Texas these days?
It's hot. It's hot. It's August. And what's funny is that I'm in the relocation business. And everybody's moving in August. Everybody's trying to get moved and settled in before school starts.
Yeah,
And I was just thinking about we had a safety meeting just last week, and we are just talking about making sure the guys were hydrated and getting drinks to them. It's so hot. So yeah, that's what it's like.
yeah. Well, I'm excited to hear more about your background and
Good.
everything you've done up to this point in your career. So again, I'm really excited to have you as a guest. Episode 5 of this Speakeasy HR. So let me go through a couple of things before we get into your background and everything. We're going to do the world famous envelope icebreaker, which I know you have the questions and we've done them. So if you've watched, you've seen what those questions are. But let me try to bring this over to the sponsor of the show. Speakeasy HR is sponsored by Payroll Partners. So do you have a Porky payroll process? Is your current provider hogging your time or energy and money? It's time to look for a better solution. Learn more about Payroll Partners. Visit payrollpartners.net. All right. So, Bruce, how did you get in to the relocation business and writing books and being active in Texas SHRM? Like, let me hear a little bit about it and share that with the people watching today.
Yeah, if you've read my books or listened to some of the stuff that I'm doing, bowling was a big part of my young life. So
Okay.
as a matter of fact, I have my bowling pin right here. Are there any bowlers out there? Like, if there's a bowler out there, I'd love to know like what your high game is. So I
Well, The Big
grew up
Lebowski is one of my favorite movies, so I'm not really a bowler, but that's one of my favorite movies.
Kingpin.
Kingpin. There you go.
I love it. I love it. So I grew up in Oklahoma, and
Okay.
my parents owned bowling centers. They still own a bowling center today.
Okay.
And so it's still a lot of fun for our family. When I went to college, I met my wife there, and funny story, I quit after a year. We got married. She graduated from college, so she was a senior at the time. We got married, we had children, and 4 years later, I went back to school and I finished school. And when I finished, I became the manager of the bowling center. I mean, that's what, like, I was the guy that was going to run the bowling center. No, like,
Yeah.
it was me. I was traveling all across the country. I was bowling. And so that was a big part of my life at the time was bowling. And my wife, though, taught school.
Okay.
And so she worked in the daytime. Bowling is all about nights and weekends and all the time for me. I just hung out on the lanes. And so, when you're competing at a high level and you're trying to manage a bowling center, that's what you do. And so, but in 1995, I know I'm dating myself here. 1995, we decided to make a lane change, and really for me to get more in alignment with what I really wanted and who I wanted to be. And so, my wife and I decided to move to Dallas, Texas. My brother worked in the relocation business.
Okay.
And he said, "Hey, listen, I don't know where it will go, but I can get you an interview,
Yeah.
and you never know." And so, fast forward, I spent 8 years in operations, and then in 2004, I joined the Armstrong Company on the sales and marketing side.
Okay.
And that's where really a lot of this started that we'll talk about today. I remember thinking when I got on that side, I knew the business.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be something different. I didn't know what different was. I just wanted to serve in a different way. And when I thought about sales, when I first joined the company, I thought about the used car lot, the white shirts with the ties coming out to sell your car. You're like, no, no, no. And I was like, oh, is that how I'm going to be viewed here? And so I was just trying to figure out how can I be something a little bit different. And so I did a couple of things. I decided to really invest in networking. And that's where I got started in Dallas HR. And then also invested in writing. And I started a newsletter that turned into a blog that turned into a book. And so that's kind of been my journey. And it's been a fun journey.
Yeah. So stay in your lane. Was that tied to the bowling?
Yeah, it was. The first book is called Find Your Lane. And and that was tied to the bowling center, but I thought about it as I was making my career journey, the twists and turns. We all know what they are, right? The ups and downs. You're going for success, and then you have these failure moments, and then you move to another job, and you're just trying to find your calling, like your purpose. And so, Find Your Lane. I always had that in my mind, and here's where that title came from. So when I ran my my parents' bowling center, lanes 3 and 4 were right behind the desk.
Okay.
And I would, like, when we weren't busy, I was bowling on lanes 3 and 4. And so if somebody came into the bowling center to bowl me on lanes 3 and 4, I was pretty hard to beat. Like, I was very good. But if you go down to lanes 11 and 12 on the end, like, this is a small bowling center.
Okay.
On lane 12, there was a heater that blew over across the lane. So it like dried the lane out. And on lane 11, it was real slick. So that was like a very difficult, it was hard to score. And my thought process was this: I can be bowling well on 11 and 12, but not scoring.
Yeah.
And I can be bowling the same way on 3 and 4, but be scoring. I just had to find the lane that worked for me. And it's the same in the workplace.
Yeah.
Maybe early on it was operations. I was like, what, that's not really my lane. So I just changed lanes. I'm in the same industry.
Yeah.
And sometimes, though, changing lanes too isn't changing jobs. It's changing perspective. It's changing mindset.
Right.
And so that's where that title came from. Find your lane. Change your GPS and change your career.
Find your lane. I love it.
Yeah.
No, that's great. So you've got kids. How many kids?
I do. I have 3 children. Yes.
3 children. Okay. 3 children, all in Texas, all over. Where are they?
It's interesting. Years ago, I used to always, when my children were younger, and I was helping people move, and I'd say, "Hey, where are you moving? Do you have kids?" And they'd say, "Yeah, they're in Florida or Georgia or wherever." And I was like, "Oh man, I'm so lucky. I have everybody right here." And then fast forward, my oldest son now lives in Denver, Colorado, with his wife. And what's cool about that is I can go visit him. We can go to the slopes, right? And then I have a daughter that's a nutritionist for a bariatric center here in Frisco, Texas.
Okay.
She also has a podcast. It's really cool to kind
podcasts.
of watch
Yeah,
that. Yeah, yeah. And then my youngest son, he works in Dallas as well. They all graduate from college, and
got it.
yeah, it's good.
Oh, that's great. I've got three myself. Oldest started in high school this year, so
Mm.
I'm hoping he stays somewhat close to us. I kind of moved away from where I grew up in Michigan, so
Oh, okay.
moving down about 4 hours south. I didn't get as far south as Florida or somewhere to play year-round golf, which I was trying to do, but it led me to where I'm at today, and so golf is a huge part of my life still. But
That's awesome.
yeah, just can't play year-round, but that's okay.
And
So
you're in,
maybe if they don't stay around here, maybe they'll go somewhere south that I can come visit and play
I'd
golf
love
year-round.
that.
You know what I mean?
I'd love that. We got some great golf courses here in North Texas for sure. Are
Yeah,
you in Kentucky?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm just over the river from Cincinnati, Ohio. So we
Okay.
are close to the Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Airport, which the Cincinnati Airport is in Kentucky. If you've been to the airport, you're actually not in Ohio.
Okay.
For those of you listening or watching, you are in Kentucky when you land at the Cincinnati Airport. But
Well,
it's it's a great place to live and grow up and raise kids and stuff. But yeah, so trying to play around golf, I'll have to either find a place to go after I stop working full time, and have somewhere to go during the winter when it's nice and icy and snowy here. But,
what's funny is I remember when I took the job at Armstrong in 2004, I remember thinking, and I'd managed salespeople before from the operations side. And I remember thinking, man, I'm going to play some golf now. And I play less golf now than ever.
well, you're a busy
Uh,
man. You're in
yeah.
Texas SHRM, right? You volunteer for
Yeah.
Texas SHRM. So that probably takes up your time, and you do speaking engagements, right? So you
That's right.
travel,
Yeah.
and so you're involved in a lot, but it's a lifelong sport, Bruce. So you will find your time, right?
Oh, yeah. 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 I always call it, there's a season for everything.
Yeah,
Right. And so
exactly.
right now, yeah, the season is for I'm spending a lot of time with Texas SHRM,
Yeah,
volunteering in the organization, and tremendous organization. So tremendous people in the
yeah,
organization.
yeah,
And then, of course, with the relocation, I'm doing a lot of speaking, have a lot of events coming up, talking about my book, and just I don't know, just trying to find. There's a section in my book called "Learn, Earn, and Return." When we start out, we're learning, and then okay, we've learned it. Let's go earn it.
yeah,
And then you get to a season where I feel like I am now, and it's like
yeah,
I still want to earn it, but now
yeah,
it's really time to return it. Like,
yeah,
let's figure out a way. How do you give back to all the people, all the books, all the speakers, all everyone that's just poured into you? And that's kind of where I'm at.
yeah. No, love it. So you ready for the world famous envelope icebreaker game?
Let's do it.
All
Let's
right,
do it.
let me bring it in here. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
So I'll let you pick 1 through 15. You got a favorite number?
14. 14 is my number. That was my high school football number, and let's
14.
go
High
with it.
school football number.
Yeah. Yeah.
What position did you play?
I was the guy on the sidelines holding the cord for the coach. No,
There you
I
go.
played defensive cornerback, and then I was like third string quarterback.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. My son plays. He's in 6th grade, and
Yeah. It's fun watching them.
it's fun. I just you never know what's going to happen in games, and
Yeah. That's right.
he's got also the golf itch, so it's one of
Mm,
those things. You get injured more in football, right, than golf. But hey,
yeah. Yeah.
all right. 14. What
Mm.
is your favorite piece of career advice?
Oh my goodness. I've I have so been given so much advice my whole career. But I would say for me, I talk about all the time, your net worth is your net worth. I just feel like, my mom I remember early on going as a student in elementary school, talking
Yeah.
about choosing your friends wisely
Yeah.
and being surrounded by great people. And then I remember through the, as the, leading the bowling center, my kind of ups and downs and
Yeah.
and today I'm surrounded by so many great people, so
Yeah.
many great people. And so when I talk to people about, but I've had people ask me this, like, hey, what advice would you give? And I always talk about different things, whether it's soft skills, communications, things like that. But I always say you got to go out and you got to find your lane. You got to find a chapter, or find an association. It may be a SHRM chapter. It may be a talent acquisition chapter. It may be
Yep.
a sales group, whatever it is. You got to go find that group and go
Yeah.
huddle up with them. And
Yep.
your career will just take off in so many different ways.
Hey, y'all, I'm Lee Cage Jr., and I'd like to invite you to listen in to my podcast, 15 Minutes With. 15 Minutes with rising stars and seasoned disruptors, thought leaders, and change agents who are sharing how they're reshaping work, rethinking worth, and reimagining what's possible. This is fast-paced, heartfelt, and unfiltered. These aren't just conversations. They're catalysts. So tune in, elevate, share the shift. 15 Minutes With, wherever you get your podcasts.
And so that would be my advice.
Yeah. No, it's great advice for anybody watching, really, and the other question, more of a lightning round question, your first job where you had taxes deducted, which I don't know if you remember what that was.
I do. So, yeah, I mean, because I worked for my parents most of the time early on, but I remember I worked for, today it's Carl Juniors. Do y'all have those? Carl Juniors? Yeah. It was called Hardee's back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Hardee's.
Yeah, I used to work at Hardee's. And I remember getting paid and I was like, hey, I thought I made, $120. And why do I only have 70? Yeah. Yes, I do remember that.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I had to think about it because people have asked me, one of my colleagues, he asks that, like when he goes to events and things like that, he asks, what was your first job when you had a paycheck? Did you look at the taxes that came out and all that? And mine was probably a golf course, either making tips or working at the golf course. And the other lightning round question, your first HR job.
It was. I remember this very well. Well, a couple of different memories I have. The first one, when I joined the very first company that I worked for, I became the operations, like a local dispatch manager.
Yeah.
And I remember I was collaborating with the HR leader, and we were going through performance appraisal. I think I was actually writing up my very first employee, like for, I don't know, it was no show, whatever that was. But I just remember when I wrote it up, how the HR manager came to talk to me about how well I did on the write-up. And it was almost like reinforcing, like, hey, you did great. I want you to keep improving on this because it helps everybody. I just thought it's cool. That wasn't necessarily when I was the HR manager, but when I became the general manager years later for another company, I remember a time where I just remember some tough conversations, but some of them aren't like tough decisions. They're just tough conversations.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I just remember a couple of different times when I knew what the right thing was. I was going through the paperwork. It just wasn't right. And that what we were going to do about it was very easy, but just knowing that conversation was coming, that was very hard. So yes, I do.
Yeah. Sometimes you have in HR, obviously, some difficult conversations to have with people. And I think the people that understand what that's like, whether you're a manager in HR, and difficult conversations with people, same thing with your family and your spouse. It's like, if you can go into that knowing that the outcome may not be exactly what you envisioned, but knowing that you feel like you are going to make a difference in that person's, part of the situation. And it just, so having those difficult conversations, some people just try to avoid difficult conversations, and those people probably shouldn't be in manager roles or HR. But again, there are people that it comes natural to them. So it really can obviously help your career when you are able to get out of that comfort zone and have those difficult conversations, and just try to look to the people in that situation as maybe more of a mentor, maybe as a, coach kind of thing versus, so anyway, it's.
Well, and I was actually thinking about that. There's opportunity there, right? For some coaching too,
Yeah.
as you've kind of gone through it. Now you can go back and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to coach this person up, because with the right coaching, the conversations aren't as tough. Number
Right.
one. And it really made me think about a time when it wasn't necessarily in the HR manager position, but it was in a speaking position.
Yep.
And someone said, hey, it was a story. And there was a girl that was nervous getting ready to go on stage.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, why are you nervous? Have you done this before? And she's like, no, I never have. And he's like, well, why are you nervous then? And she's like, oh, and she was focused. The light was on her. She's focused on what people would think about her.
Yeah.
Right. Through that message. And he said, if you can just go out and you can think about the way you can help someone, then all of a sudden you don't feel the same.
Right.
And so a lot of people, it's like you don't want to have that conversation with them. It's a tough conversation, but yet when you're done, they're like, oh my gosh, thank you for telling me that. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
so a lot of times coaching is a big deal.
Yeah.
I see you got somebody on there with my last name. Who is that?
I do. I'll pull it back up here. Mark.
Mark Waller. Do you know Mark?
I don't know Mark. Do you?
Yeah, I do know Mark. Mark is
Yeah?
Mark's my brother.
That's great.
And he's also in
Got the
Dallas,
family
Texas.
in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome, Mark. Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
If anyone else, he's watching on LinkedIn, so the chat is open. If you are watching live, we'd love to hear where you are watching, whether it's Texas, Kentucky, California. Last week, we had people on in other parts of the world, which was great to see. So
I love it.
Mark's getting into it.
Yeah, that is Mark's my older brother. So, I told the story earlier about coming to Dallas. He's the guy that helped me get to Dallas and has been a great mentor for me ever since.
Mentor and a brother.
And a brother. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Makes for good dinner conversations.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into this topic a little bit, Bruce. We already have, I think, a little bit, but your topic, and I'll say this like I've said with everybody, when I bring guests on this show, it's what topic are you most passionate about, and what is that, and bring that to the show, because there's things I'm passionate about, HR, bourbon, those kinds of things, family, faith. But when I have someone come on and they have a topic that they want to bring on and talk about, it's really fun to hear their perspective, especially when it's the topic that they feel very passionate about. And so with your, books and the things that you have gotten into, you brought the top shelf topic as moving your career beyond success to significance. So let's dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. And I've been thinking about this for a long time, but really the pandemic kind of amplified that, and people talking about, hey, I want more meaning in my work. I want more purpose. I want to do things that matter. And I just kept thinking about this, we all have this, we've all had success in some way, right? But we want more than that. Like, we want to make impact. And so that's kind of where that came from. My book, Find Your Lane, we talked about earlier, a chapter, I think it's chapter 7, is called Drive with Purpose. And I have a little bit on that. And so I was like, hey, I want to expand this more. And so when we talk about that, though, I really started the book with defining success. And we all will raise our hands if we want success, but very few people can actually define that, because it's defined how you want to define it. Right. And so that's how I started the book. But my message in the book is basically, hey, we've all had success in some way, but how do we go beyond that? And I want to tell that story. Like, how do we pursue, how do we pursue significance? How do we measure significance? How do we know that because it's that dotted line. It's like, I have this significance. Well, okay, well, how?
Right.
And so my hope is that people will dive into the book and they'll see that, maybe I can do something a little bit different, or two, maybe I am in a role that I'm creating significance, but I just can't see it. Yeah. Like, for example, you like going to conferences, right?
Do I like going to conferences?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Or
funny you brought that up.
are you getting ready to go to a conference?
I am ready to go to a conference tomorrow. So
Oh,
going to Kentucky SHRM. So if anyone is
how
watching,
about that?
stop by our booth for our brand new pig that we are going to be giving out. Last year it was the cow, which
That's
moved to Payroll
fantastic.
Partners.
I
Now we
love
got
that.
the pig.
That's
So
fantastic.
yeah, I honestly haven't been going to a lot of SHRM conferences in the past. I've been in HR for over 15 years, and this is my very first one. So
Well,
there's that. But conferences from a day, a half day conference, things like that. Yes, I've gone to a lot of those, not state conferences for SHRM. So that is a new experience that I'm going to have this week down in Louisville.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Well,
Yeah.
where I was going with that though is a lot of times we'll go and we'll stay the night and get up the next morning, and the first thing I'm looking for is coffee. I want coffee. And usually go and there's like this long line for coffee, and everybody's getting this coffee. But does the guy or the lady know when they got up that morning, they weren't like making coffee, like they were going to they were creating something extraordinary for the people that are going to be drinking it. Think about it. No coffee. How's everybody feel?
Oh,
And I was thinking about, I was needing to get back to the airport. I don't have my car. I'm relying on the Uber guy. Does he realize how significant his role is? Taking me to the airport to get back to my family.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I was trying to my hope was that I could share a different lens on, hey, listen, like me moving people, I got a call from a guy who needed me to help his mom. This is when it hit me, not for the first time, but when I really remember it. And it was a banker, and he needed to move his mom. She didn't have much, but she was moving from assisted living. This was stress on this guy.
Oh yeah.
Stress. Man, I need you to take care of my mom, and I went out there, I took care of her. It's a very small move. I made a very small commission on it, but it was a big, 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 big deal to him. That was significance. Just go help them. And so when we talk about that, we talk about, hey, how can we find ways to help others? And I outline a few things, when people say, well, how do I go, pursue that? And I talk about, well, I always start with the GAPS. There's a acronym I have in my book called GAPS, GAPS, and G stands for growth. And we got to start with goals. Do you have goals? Do you have a personal growth plan? I remember listening to John Maxwell early in my career. Is get a personal growth plan. You need to have that. We talked about networking. I had a story in my book. It's kind of a fun story. And it's called Quarterbacks Learn from Quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So we're sports guys. And so Tom Brady's sharing a story around the table. Brett Favre was there. There's all these, great quarterbacks there. And he's sharing a story about how him and Peyton Manning used to go off site and work out with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about this play that he learned from Peyton. And he went back and he talked to Bill O'Brien and his team, said, hey, I want to install this coverage and this blocking here. And he said they made a living, him and Gronkowski made a living on that play. And he said, quarterbacks, and he said quarterbacks learn from quarterbacks. And I thought, well, yeah, I mean, speakers learn from speakers, leaders learn from leaders. You got to go find those people. And so, and that's part of that, that's part of that growth plan. So G, and then A is alignment. You need to know who you want to be. There's a great section on there. What are you known for? We can talk about that, but it's being in alignment. I think Brene Brown said, if somebody asks you what your values are, you should pop off two, without even thinking about it.
Right.
And so P stands for purpose, being intentional in everything you do. And S stands for service. And I always say, go through that list, because if you're doing everything, then just accelerate. You're just hey, it's just not your season yet. Just accelerate. But most of the time we'll find that, I'm not serving like I need to be serving, or I'm not in alignment. like, I got to do something a little bit different. And so that's a lot of that. And so as we pursue it, we can start right there. A lot of times we just get stuck. You ever achieved a goal and then you're like, oh, now what?
Now
Like,
what?
You're
Yep.
just like, you just get stuck.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just having that growth mindset and saying, hey, you know what? I got to figure out a way to make sure I've aligned everything, find my gaps, make sure I've filled that, and then I'm going to go on. And then we talk about measuring it. And I was listening. So my daughter has a podcast, Scaling Back and Living Your Best Life. I mean, this is fantastic. She's a nutritionist.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Scaling Back
and Living Your Best Life.
Okay.
And basically what they do is they help people with weight loss.
Okay.
And so she interviews people that have gone through the surgery treatment for bariatric surgery. The stories are phenomenal.
Yeah.
And so she asked a question on the show and it really hit me. And she asked the question to every guest at the end of the show, what's your non-scale victory? Because they're always looking at the scale. Like, hey, I'm 300 pounds. I'm like, and it's hard. Like early on, it's like, oh my gosh, it's, we're 295, 292. Like you're just focused on that number. But what's the non-scale victory? And they start talking about, there's people that cry on the show. They're talking about,
oh yeah,
I get to finally go into a clothing store and try clothes on.
Yeah.
It's that why. Like, why am I doing it? That's what it is. And when you start looking at it that way, like everything else will play out. Like for me, I'm helping people relocate. I'm helping their family in transition.
Yeah.
And instead of looking at what are your sales numbers or what is your, all of those are important. What's the retention rate? All of the metrics are important. But we got to start looking at the non-scale victories. Like, where are we winning? And it will bring so much light into what you're doing. It just will. And then lastly, how do we live it? And I talk about in the book, there's people that are living it every day. We all know what it looks like. It's incredible. Like there's a guy in my office, his name's Brad Long. And he's our VP of operations. He's got 50 plus drivers going all at once. Like his phone's probably ringing all the time. He's got texts all the time. If you walk into his office though, you won't ever know it. Hey, how you doing, man? Hey, I just got off the phone with our van operator of the year. Like he's just like in this incredible positivity moment. And he knows he's helping these guys.
Yeah.
Like, cause they're out on the road, man. They need him. And that's his way of doing that. And so there's other people I talk about in the book. And so it's all of those things like, hey, we got first thing we got to do is we got to define what success means to us. And then we got to go start pursuing that significance, like get in that lane of significance. How can we help people? How can we look what you're doing? Think about it. Your job was not to go start a podcast. Your job was to be an HR leader, right? And then, but you started looking beyond, said, how can I help people see things differently and get different perspective and insight? That's what it's all about. It's like going beyond.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it, Bruce, because you and I would not probably have met if I did not start this. And so now talking to people like you, and then I've got other people that are like, oh, I've got this other person that would be a great guest. And so I'm just connecting to more people that might have a really good story, a really good topic, that are very passionate in their work, in their career. And so, it's been great. So just hearing the stories and how you have from your perspective, like gone through this process with your career, getting these books lined up and doing a podcast yourself, which you're on YouTube, you're walking during the morning and you're posting videos and going on LinkedIn. So if anyone is not following Bruce, he is a great follow. I've got his YouTube channel his blog is up in the corner. If anyone is going to be wanting to connect with Bruce on his blog, it's a great resource. And that's just a little hint of what you might have to do to get his special offer. So, yeah.
There's some. I was just gonna say there's some little things. I was talking to someone at lunch. Actually, a chief people officer. We were talking. She's like, I want to do something a little bit more, and she's actually getting ready to start a blog. And I was telling her the story, and the story was basically I started a newsletter.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, today, think about that for a second. It's like a newsletter.
Yeah.
But then it morphed into a blog.
Yeah.
And then when I decided to write a book, I took a lot of the things I'd written on my blog and put it into a book. It's like you just keep stacking bricks.
Yep.
Keep stacking them. And then one day someone will look back and say, man, how'd that house get there? Like,
kind of like your background. You got some bricks in your background.
Yes. I have that in my book. Yeah. The brick wall of advice. I heard a story the other day, John Maxwell's story, and he was talking about the rule of 5. Have you heard that?
The rule of 5. Yeah.
Yeah. So the rule of 5 basically is, hey, you need to go out and you need to get your axe. You need to go find a tree. That tree's something you're I don't know, it's on your mind. You're thinking about it. It's a dream. It's a job. It's going back to school, whatever that is. And you pick up that axe and you chop at it 5 times. Yeah. And you put it down. The next day you do it again, put it down. Next day you do it again. And you just do it every day, 5 times. You don't do it 500. You just do it 5 times. And if it's a small tree, it might take you 2 weeks. It might take you 2 months. If it's a big tree, it might take you 2 years.
Yeah.
But the thing you got to do is you got to keep swinging the axe.
Yeah.
And every day. And so I think that's what you do. I think that's what I do. I think that's what a lot of high performers do is they just get out there and they just do the work every day. And then, hey, 10 years will go by fast. It'll go by super fast. When I was 40, I don't know if I told you this story. When I was 40, I heard something. I cannot remember where I heard it from, but it said, hey, if you really want to dream big, write down who you are at 50. So I started writing down, okay, I'm 50. So that means I've been married 27 years. I've won President's Club 3 times now. At the time, I think I'd won it once or whatever. And I started like as if I was 50, like that is what I wrote down. And one of the things I wrote down is I'm an author. I wrote a book.
Yeah.
And when I turned 50, I looked at that list and everything I accomplished that except writing a book. Is that wild? And so I published my first book at 51. And that was because it was on my list. I was like, oh my gosh, it's on there. So I think that's something I would challenge people to do too. It's like, hey, who do you want to be in 5 years? Or what do you want to try to accomplish? Just put it down on paper and then just keep picking up that axe and chopping away. And next thing you know,
that's the hardest part, right? Like if you have a vision in mind and you just think about it and you never like write it down and you never take that leap, like to start a podcast or write a book or do something that 12 months ago might have just been a thought in your mind. Like, oh, I don't really want to do that. Like that seems like it's never going to work. It's not going to be successful, whatever. But it's like now you've done these things, and are you going to keep writing? Are you going to try to write more, or is this it?
No, I actually heard Jesse Isler. He's a famous guy married to Sarah Blakely. He had a saying one time, and he's talking about when you finish a marathon, you're like, I did it. Yeah. Instead of saying I did it, you need to say, how far can I go? Like that's growth mindset. Yeah. And so I'm thinking, I write the blog because I enjoy writing the blog. And so I'll just keep writing that blog. I write it usually every other week on my blog, Move to Inspire. And I've had that blog going a long time. I'm hoping everybody will go check out the blog and subscribe to the blog and email me and let me know you subscribe. That'd be fantastic. And can I share the?
Well, I'm just going to pull it up now because
look at you.
It was
I love that
segue. So
that's right. Yeah,
your blog.
Yeah, send me an email. You subscribe to Move to Inspire. Send me an email, and I will send you a copy. My first 5 people, I'll send you a copy of the book of your choice, one of my books. I'll sign it and I'll put it in the mail for you. I think you'll get a lot out of it. I write it because I've been encouraged so much in my life. I want to encourage others.
Yeah.
And I feel like, it's funny. most of my blogs, you'll read them and they're stories. I've
Yeah.
become a storyteller. And what's funny is I remember, like, I don't know, it was a long time ago, 15 years ago, I was going to give a presentation. I remember thinking, I wish I had some stories. And today I've become a storyteller. And what it was is I wasn't looking for the stories. And so you
Yeah.
have to like be purposeful. We're talking about driving on with purpose, even in that. And so I was talking earlier. I had a chief people officer that said she wants to start a blog. I said, well, just start. You mentioned that was the hardest part is
Yep.
starting something.
Yep.
There's an acronym that I use after every presentation that I have, and I have people write on a Post-it note. And the acronym is ACT. ACT. We've got to act. And ACT stands for, action changes things.
Action changes things.
Action changes things. And I tell people all the time that if you've sat through a podcast or you've sat through a presentation and you've heard something and you write it down, if you don't act on it, all that doesn't really mean a whole lot. Yeah, you were inspired and you were motivated, and that's great. Keep doing that. But when you act, it changes.
Oh, absolutely.
Action changes things. And so that's what I was sharing with the chief people officer. I was like, hey, listen, I'm going to tell you, here's how you do it. Here's where you go. Write a blog and just start. Just start. And you'll see amazing things happen.
Yeah. So what's next for you? You're doing some keynote speaking coming up. Where can people, outside of your blog and your books and things like that? So based on where people are located in Texas, or are you going to be traveling, or what do you got coming up in the next few months?
I am. Appreciate you sharing that. I am actually keynoting a Hub Internationals conference in Fort Worth and San Antonio this week.
Okay.
So super excited about that. We're going to talk about Drive with Purpose. Cool. I'm going to be at the HR Southwest conference. We talked about the SHRM conferences. So the HR Southwest in Fort Worth, Texas is one of the largest regional conferences in the country.
Okay.
And so that's fantastic. I've been speaking there. That conference, I'm actually be speaking. I'm going to have a slight twist on it.
Okay.
Is drive your mobility program with purpose, because I'm in relocation. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. There is a Talent Net National Recruiter Conference coming to Richardson, Texas here in November. I'm going to keynote that. Okay. Super excited about that. And then I have some other things. I'm going to El Paso for a book signing here in a couple of weeks. That's going to be fun.
Okay.
Right down by the border.
Wow.
So a lot of exciting things going on. I'm doing a lot of speaking. Yeah, you can find all that information on my website at brucewaller.com. But I'm just, you know what? I'm just kind of, my mindset right now is like, hey, how far can I go? How much can I serve? Where can I serve? And just kind of, and you know, what's funny is we talked about finding your lane. A lot of times we talk about finding your lane in the workplace, but then all of a sudden it's kind of fluid. Because then you become a speaker. Now I'm trying to find my lane in the speaking arena.
Oh yeah.
And or if you write a blog, you're trying to find your lane in the blog area. Whatever that is, you just got to start. And it's been a lot of fun.
That's fun. Well, we didn't bring up bourbon because my theme is the speakeasy vibe, right? The 1920s. Prohibition was out, and it was just a hard time, and now people all over the world, the country, can enjoy bourbon. So do you have a favorite bourbon? Are you into bourbon?
I'm not really into bourbon.
No,
but but let me just say this. I love being around people that are passionate about different things. I had a friend that was a duck hunter one time. I wasn't really a duck hunter, and I went duck hunting with him. And I was just like energized the whole time.
There you go.
So listening to you talk about bourbon, I'm like, okay, tell me, what should I know?
There you go. Well, I got married last year.
Okay.
And guests that came to our wedding, they didn't just get a gift like you would at a normal wedding. They got a blend of what we blended together. And so it's a local place that came out and they blend their own bourbon. They have a fun little venue for small, weddings, events, and whatnot. And so we did that last year, and everybody that came got a small bottle of it. So
that is so cool.
Just a fun, different thing, like that. most weddings may not have a bottle of bourbon these days. But yeah,
Hey, you got to differentiate yourself, man. I
Right.
mean, come on. Now,
Yeah.
is Kentucky's home of bourbon, right? Or
95% of bourbon's made in Kentucky, but
wow,
doesn't
okay.
have to be made in Kentucky to be called for it to be called bourbon. So that'll be a different conversation to get into
Yeah.
the bourbon, but
Yeah.
it's fun. It's a
Yeah.
fun it's a fun thing that we have in Kentucky that a lot of people just assume it has to be made in Kentucky, but
Yeah.
you have a lot of different distilleries, Garrison Brothers and the folks down in Texas area. There's
Mm,
a lot of good distilleries all over the country, but majority of them are in Kentucky, but
that's cool.
right
I
in
love
our
that.
backyard. So
I love it.
well, again, Bruce, I appreciate your time. Anybody that is watching, I know somebody scanned the QR code because it's telling me. So if anybody did not get it, pull it back up here real quick. So the first 5 people, because this will go on Spotify. So anybody that's going to be watching it on demand on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Spotify, the first 5 people that do email Bruce at bwaller@goarmstrong.com and sign up for his blog, just email him and he will get you a free book of choice where you will sign it and send it off. So I think that's a great offer, Bruce. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on here today. This has been a lot of fun. I love everything you're doing, David. I mean, the thing about it is that people don't probably realize the work that goes into
Yeah.
like what you're doing. I talked about Allison earlier from Dallas. Allison Resentes is the person I was talking, my daughter, who I was talking about earlier.
There you go.
Who's a great podcaster as well. We talked about her podcast and the non-scale victories when we come to measuring significance. But there's a lot of work that goes into what you were doing. And I love all this. I love the background,
It's all real.
the video. And what I love mostly though, is that you didn't just didn't just start like all at once. You had to like build, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
And there's a lady that was on my podcast, CHRO, Adrienne Court. She said something that really stood out to me. And she said, the challenge today is that everybody wants to get everything perfect before they start. And she said they need to focus on OTL. And OTL stands for over the line. And she said, focus on getting it 85% there and then start. And then go and change the tires and the wheels and do whatever you got to do for the last 15.
Yeah.
But just start like we talked about earlier. And I think that's what you've done. I think that's what you'll see most high performers do is they just start and then they build on it. And I love what you're doing. It's great.
Yeah. No, you've really shared a lot of information with me over the last few months just to give me ideas and thoughts. So I do soak that in. I try to take, all the feedback that I get from people that do a podcast that bring in their ideas and opinions to me. Like I just want to make it my own, but also take their advice because I want to be different and I want to be genuine and really just stand out there. And so again, people coming on my show like you, it's bring me a topic that you're most passionate about right now. And a lot of people have a topic and they come on and it's been great. So hopefully you can come back on in the next year or so, whenever you have a new book or something else coming out, and would love to have that. So
I love that. I love that. Speaking into the future, your next book. Hey, just remember, quarterbacks learn from quarterbacks. We talked about that earlier. And each time you have a guest on, you learn all these different things. And next thing you know, you're like, oh my gosh, I have so much to offer here because I've been like people like pouring, like that's what's happened to me. People have poured into me for the last 20 plus years. And now I'm able to like, okay, well, let me, we talked about learn, earn, and return. Let me return it and pour into others. And I think that's what brings that joy and that fulfillment in our careers.
Yeah. No, I'm having a blast with this, Bruce. And I don't have written down that I'm going to write a book yet. I'm in my 40s. So I've got a little bit more time until I hit 50, but maybe a book. But right now it's this and everything else I'm involved in. So I stay super busy, but really enjoying it all. So if you aren't connected with me on LinkedIn, certainly connect with me. I would love to, connect and share ideas and just have more resources to reach out to. So Bruce, anything else you want to add before we jump off of here?
No, I just want to say thanks for all the support. I see my daughter Allison is on. I see my dad Mark is on. My brother Mark. No, it's been great. I appreciate you having me on. It's been a lot of fun. I'm going to be watching you and your journey ahead, and I'm excited for you. It's good things ahead. Tell everybody at Kentucky SHRM I said hello.
I will do that.
Yeah,
they've got some really good speakers, so I'm excited.
Awesome.
So
you're going to see Steve Brown?
Steve Brown.
I think he's going to be there.
One and only. Yep, he'll be there tomorrow. He'll be there tomorrow. I will do that. So, Bruce, we'll have to have you on again. I really appreciate your time. Best of luck on all of your upcoming events and speaking engagements. But really, I'm glad you came on and shared some insights and your stories. And keep up the good work, my friend, down there in Texas. And we'll be talking to you soon. And the next episode is going to be in 2 weeks. Next Monday is a holiday, so everybody will enjoy that. But I'll be back September 9th. So thanks for watching. And Bruce, you have a great rest of your day, and we'll be talking real soon, my friend.
All right. See you, buddy.
All right. Take care.